Now I will admit certain things openly on camera. You made a joke. I'm aware of that. Yeah, threatening me, threatening to beat me up, kill me, all this stuff. You have to go there and die. You have to go there and die. That's your command. Because I am of a serious danger to them.
Growing up as a kid, were you always this serious? Pre-planned this.
I used to eat so much meat.
So, hi everyone, welcome to this episode of the series that we have started, Ethical Leaders, and today's guest needs no introduction, especially in the vegan community. Arvind Animal Activist, welcome. How are you doing, bro?
Thanks, man. I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine, really excited to connect with you and have been in contact, and we discussed that we'll do a collaboration for like so long. And
when, like October of last year or something? Like
Yeah.
September or October of last year.
Yeah. So now we are doing it. So really amazing. And first and foremost, before we start this, I want to thank you on behalf of the whole Indian vegan community for teaching us, inspiring us, especially me as an individual. I've always said this, like you have inspired me to become a content creator. Like I got that courage, okay, like we can go out and talk about this topic because you paved the way for us, right?
Thank you.
So you have been a vegan for like 10 years now.
10 years, yeah.
Yeah, and content creator for how long?
If you're talking solely about posting videos on social media, I guess in 2017 June is when it started on our page.
2017, okay.
Around almost 7 years ago at this point.
All right, and that is like at a very initial stage, and probably at that time there were not other content creators.
Nobody in India. There was no one in India speaking about the ethical aspects of veganism. There were people, of course, making videos did exist, but how do I say it? It was more like buy this brand of soy milk, or the happy things behind veganism. Like everything is all happy.
Plant-based, health, spirituality.
Yeah, that's stuff. Exactly, pretty much that. So no one was yet delving headfirst into colliding and fighting with the public to do that. And I come from Tamil Nadu, which is one of the most ferocious, you can say, ruthless people. Not in a negative way, but they exist. Like people there, if you question their beliefs and their culture, they get really angry, really pissed off. And being from there, me and my wife, in fact, my wife was the one who started posting videos first on social media, not even me. We opened up a page, a YouTube channel called Arvind Animal Activist, and she was the one who first started uploading videos there, and they were all in Tamil. So that's how we first got started, making videos only in Tamil. And then from there, we started making a few English videos like a year later. And me personally, I was raised for 4 years in America, in Los Angeles, from the age of 4 to 8. So my preschooling, kindergarten, first, second, and third grade were all done in the US, which is why I am actually much more comfortable in speaking in English than even in Tamil, my mother tongue. I learned Tamil only at the age of 8 after coming back to India. So when we started speaking in English, the videos did much better because I was also in my element, much more comfortable. And just one thing to another, and now here we are after so many years later. Yeah.
And your wife, you mentioned, so she was also vegan. Like she has also been a vegan for more than 10 years or so?
No. She, I met her. I think she was vegan for 1 year or something. I think not even a year at that point. I'm not entirely sure. So if you want that story, short form.
Short form, yeah.
Yeah, short form. So basically, I had met the vegans of Chennai, Tamil Nadu at that point. It was around 2016. And we used to go to the beach, like how we do outreach right now, carry placards, make people watch a video, talk to the public, all this stuff. And suddenly one of the activists in that group, her name is Aishwarya, she messages me saying that this person named Arshwani from Malaysia would like to join our WhatsApp group. Here's her number, please do add her. Now, Aishwarya is a well-known activist back in Chennai. So she told it, so I added this person there. And then this person called Arshwani became a part of the community, and she was saying that she's a vegan from Malaysia, and she was not aware of many other vegans there either. And she really wanted to contribute something for the vegan movement. And she said that since she's also a Malaysian Tamil, she wants to meet the vegans of Tamil Nadu. So from there, we began speaking in that WhatsApp group, then began speaking privately together, getting on phone calls and everything. And as just one thing led to the next. And then in 6 months later, I was flying to Malaysia to meet her for the first time. So that's like the short form version, yeah.
Nice. So you both were actually vegans to begin with. So
when we met, yes. Yeah.
Nice. Like it's also a motivational story for the viewers that if you're not into activism, then this is like one incentive that you can find a vegan life partner.
You might, yeah. I would say we both got lucky in that regard because I know plenty of vegans who got into the scene. Like, see, look, marriage and love life is a completely different story. I mean, you made a joke. I'm aware of that. Yeah. But I just want to put that out in front to people that it's very different. Yeah. Just because we're vegan doesn't mean we'll necessarily get along completely well. Yeah. Just want to put that out there.
Yeah. So we'll have a casual conversation. So please don't misconstrue our word and take reels out of it and misquote us, right? So, okay. So you have seen the vegan movement transformation in India since the time you started, not only as a vegan, but also as an activist / content creator, right? So would like to ask you like your top observations that you have seen in the vegan movement change in India in the past so many years.
Sure. In terms of observations, obviously I can point out many things that have come up in front, but to speak from my heart deep within, honestly, when I look at the situation, nothing's changed. We are going to get objectively. If anything, it's gotten worse. Because if we're real, we are now, when I was starting out, India was the second most populated country on earth. And right now we are, behold, number one most populated country. And all those children who were born in that span of, say, 7 years, how many of those kids do you think are vegan right now? Or will ever become vegan in their life? That means more animals are being bred into existence than ever before to be tortured in this country for people to eat. So in that regard, I'm not being negative. I like to be objective and clear because I think as activists, as someone who says that what do we want? Animal liberation. We're not supposed to just be like, you know what? Things are great. There are more videos than ever. There are now this. That doesn't really work. What about the whole bigger picture? In that bigger picture regard, I will say that we have done nothing, not even a scratch against the industry. I mean, to them, we are still a joke. But in terms of observation on a smaller scale, the knowledge about this concept, the existence of this concept called veganism, that has spread a lot. Now I have to name out several names: Acharya Prashant, YV Care, Robin Singh from Peepalfarm, you could say myself. Then there is yourself, Suresh Vyas, Sai Vignesh. These are all just to name. Satvik movement, even they make about, I think, do they use the word vegan or do they use plant-based? I'm not sure.
They generally use the word plant-based, but some of their workshops they may talk about vegan, but the message is not really out on the ethical front. But yes, I get your larger point that they have helped people transform to a plant-based diet.
Yeah. And the very fact that this word vegan, like for example, right now, if I go to the public and say to them, hey, do you know this word vegan? They might say, I don't know what it exactly means, but I kind of have an idea what it is. Now that did not exist 10 years ago when I first changed. In fact, no one even said vegan. In Tamil Nadu, vegan. What, you are vegan? They say vegan, not vegan. So the very fact that this has changed, I'm happy. The fact that right now, if you type online on social media to get awareness, we have a plethora of information from an Indian base to get from. Because earlier, it was, when I first became vegan 10 years ago, there were probably 3 people on social media speaking about the ethical concepts of veganism. Gary Yourofsky, you know Emily of Bite Size Vegan, her, and a guy called Richard, his channel name is Vegan Gains. Only these 3, there was literally nobody else speaking about the ethics. So, but now in India, my own country, the fact that we have so many people, so much information is now out there, shows that we are moving forward. But man, we need a miracle to change this world seriously, if we are looking at it realistically.
I think just to summarize your point, I think number of vegans, ethical vegans, and the content around veganism, awareness around veganism is of course increasing. But I think we are outpaced by the population and the industry. Is
Yeah,
what
they are
you're
just
trying to
way
say.
too powerful. Not to mention also the vegan products that are now we're able to get. Like Good Dot did not exist when I first became vegan, and I'm a big Good Dot fan. And the fact that One Good produces their peanut curd. But then again, I also have the sad news. I see so many wonderful vegan companies come up, restaurants, and then they unfortunately shut down because the demand is just not there. And it's like so sad to see that these wonderful people putting in all their money, all their hard work into this. Like, I wish from my side, if there's something I could do to help them, I would. But yeah, basically all of us vegans, and not to mention this has happened, I noticed that a lot of rescue sanctuaries have come up right now for farmed animals, because come on, when it comes to cats and dogs, they always existed. But a rescue sanctuary for chickens and goats is unheard of. But right now we have one in Kerala, one in Tamil Nadu, one in Goa, Peepalfarm, and I'm sure many other parts of India they exist right now. So yes, there is definitely a growth. I can see that happening.
True. And just to build up on that point, like even I feel that we ethical vegans who are influential by means of social media or even in life in general, their number has to increase rapidly. And I think one way is that we have a lot of big activist content creators in India, right? This is what I feel. In fact, one of my aims with regard to the vegan movement in India is that in probably 10 years, we have like 20 to 30 like really big account, right? Who are collectively touching billions of views per month. Once we reach at that stage, then I think maybe we'll reach a stage where we'll have enough number of ethical vegans and we are then trying to push for policy level changes.
Exactly. That's pretty much exactly 100% my aim. Yeah. It is for me. I see that you are also wanting to have more content creators. I am a person. I always make it very clear. I am here to inspire non-vegans to become vegans. I'm here to challenge their belief systems. I have never focused my energy on helping create more activists because I just feel that is a skill that I just don't possess. It's not within me to do that. But of course, more activists, if they are effective, would definitely be more helpful. I would agree, especially in more local languages in this country, would definitely be helpful.
Yeah. So like I spend like 80% of my time on talking to non-vegans, but I also like dedicate 20% of my time training vegans so that like they become better activists. Because like you said, I think that is a skill set in general I have probably from the corporate side of things.
Maybe.
So that is where I try to contribute because then it becomes a synergy, right? When there are so many folks who are coming up with that. And you said that when you went vegan at that time you knew 3 content creators and all of them from the West, right? So is there any particular observation that you have seen that probably the Western vegan movement is doing better than India and something that we can learn from them?
I guess that few things they have advantages over us at a few things, but I don't think we can necessarily do anything, and that has to do more with the government and the mindset of the people. For example, freedom of speech actually exists in the West. I cannot exactly speak my mind what's going on out here, because if I did, there would be some fanatical group that would want me dead. We had to be real about it, but there's no tape put on their mouths there. They can speak what they want. Apart from that, I don't think there's any specific advantage they have there. If anything, I think being the most populated country on earth, if we so happen to make an explosion of veganism happen here, like an epicenter, like a big explosion, man, like imagine the number of people that can change. Like, because yes, at one point of view, it's like, oh my God, 1 billion of us, what are we going to do? But then again, oh my God, it's 1 billion of us. Think what we can do. There are 2 ways to look at the situation. So I don't see any specific advantage apart from the legal side and just the overall mindset the people have in the West.
I had a question for later on, but since we are discussing it now, so would like to ask you that from what I have seen and observed, I feel that you're a very private person, right? Like there are so many WhatsApp groups in India and you're not part of any of them, at least not in common with me. So, and you talked about that if we speak our mind freely, then there can be threats as well, right? So in your journey over the past so many years, do you think you have ever faced a threat of any sort?
Yeah, definitely.
Would you like to talk about it?
No
if it's
issues.
okay?
This happened in 2017. So this is back when I used to have WhatsApp group, which is where I added my wife and stuff. I was running like 3-4 WhatsApp groups in Tamil Nadu. Basically, we'll do outreach, and once we're done, we'll ask them, are you interested in getting more information? If they say yes, they'll give them their number, and we'll add them to a WhatsApp group, and we'll keep sharing information about veganism there. You know Jallikattu, the bullfighting sport in Tamil Nadu. So the Jallikattu protest took place in 2017, if you're aware, and it was a huge protest with 10 lakh people. I repeat, 10 lakh. That's 1 million people gathering in Marina Beach. I witnessed that. I went there live to see it. And at that point, people were getting very aggressive. And this WhatsApp group where I was the admin, some of the people there noticed that I speak against Jallikattu in their group. So they took my number and they sent it to all the people who are pro Jallikattu, and they began calling me and threatening to beat me up, kill me, all this stuff. They also got the number of other admins there, even they're threatening them too. And ever since that happened is when I realized that I don't want to give my personal information out there, be it where I live, what I'm currently doing, where I'm currently traveling, my phone number or anything. Because people will misuse it. So with that being said, for my own safety, in places where I feel like it's not even worth my presence being there, I've stopped. And it's because of that, one of those reasons I choose to be very private about where I am, where I stay, and what I do. And not to mention now, seeing how gigantically huge my social media presence has become, I know for a fact that these industries, these people are watching me for a fact, they're waiting for that one slip up I make. I am very well aware of this, where somewhere legally they can take me down, get me thrown in jail, because I am of a serious danger to them. Because people are actually watching my videos, hundreds of people are commenting and messaging me saying they want to change and become vegan. This is actually affecting them. And when that happens, they're not going to keep silent any longer. So they're waiting for me to slip, to hit me on a legal side. And not to mention, we also know several religious communities and several political groups can also get extremely aggressive. It's for this reason I try to keep myself as much as possible, away from public view. So that's the reason why. And even among the vegan community, like I told you, my main aim is to create as many vegans as I possibly can. I am not here to inspire other vegans to do activism. Like you said, if you want to look at me and think, okay, I want to do things like him and get inspired that way, okay. But I'm not going to go out of my way to help educate more vegans to do activism. So I am of no use there, being in this group, right? I'm of no use there. So with that being said, that's why I try to just keep it to myself and my work.
Yeah. And that is actually a very valid point, because if you see, there is a direct correlation between our work and how these industries will be hit financially, right? If we become more and more successful, then some of these industries, especially with their current line of products, they will be hurt economically, right? And that is actually scary. And sometimes even I have, now that our Instagram page is growing decently, so now even we feel that maybe we should think about this more, right?
You should be a bit more careful. Don't always be available everywhere. Don't let anyone know your next move. Like for example, I made a certain slip up, which is how you found out I'm here in this city. And I posted a story on Instagram, and half an hour later, I get like 10 DMs. Oh, you're coming to this city? I didn't know that.
But those are from like people who love you and be with you. But I totally get your point that it can slip out and reach out to.
Yeah. So my wife's like, dude, take that stuff down right now. From a vegan community, yes, you and several others. But then like I just checked I have to go to DMs and then click on like see all messages, and like but just starts coming like that. I'm like, oh my goodness. That's the reason why, like you said, you have to be careful, because, and see, our time on earth is limited, and I have to decide what I'm going to do with my time, where it's best used. And at this point in time, what we are doing, I'm not trying to say that this is the only way of activism, this is the best way of activism, but at this point in time, it's working. For us, at this point in time, it's working. So we want to focus all our efforts only on this and stay as safe as possible.
Of course. Yeah, so there are two considerations. One is that of priority and time management, that I totally agree with. And secondly, like the safety aspect, I think that is something I need to introspect henceforth. True. And just for the viewers, even though I caught him because of that story, doesn't mean like he's here against his will, like we pre-planned this. Okay. And also in the West, coming back to the earlier topic, we have seen a lot of conflict as well, right, within the vegan movement, and I think it's still there, right? Are there any particular tips or advices that you would have for the Indian vegan community, that these are the certain things we should stay away from, that the West is doing, and we should stay away from it?
100%. In fact, this debate just happened in the last lecture between me and a student. We were going back and forth for so long. These animal rights, I won't say all, many animal rights organizations, NGOs, tend to promote animal welfare. That is humane way of slaughter or cage-free eggs and all this kind of blah, blah, blah BS. So, yeah, all this stuff. So I will say, please be a vegan and help educate people on veganism. If you feel that is hard, if you feel like putting yourself out there, being hated, because it's difficult, I understand. To be an outcast, to be hated by people, to get hundreds upon thousands of hate comments every single day, people emailing you, calling you the most disgusting things ever, will be difficult. Then instead of using the word vegan, just use the word plant-based diet instead and promote what you want to promote. If many of these people said, for example, saying, hey, look at this celebrity, he has become plant-based. You can try being plant-based too. I don't have a problem with that. Oh, look, the celebrity is vegan. First of all, that's a false statement, because they're not vegan, most of them. Please be vegan because this person became vegan is a senseless statement to make. Like, people don't even understand then what veganism means. It's an ethical principle. I'm supposed to now have this ethical philosophy in my mind because this damn celebrity is choosing to eat, I don't know, strawberries to the oatmeal, they're adding that. Because of that, now I have to be a vegan. So please, these organizations, they exist in India too. I don't want to name anybody. I don't want to create a civil war. I'm not for that, okay? No more drama from my side. I used to fight with them a lot earlier. In fact, if I can bring up the story as well, I don't know how they are right now. No negative comments.
Should we beep this out?
No, you can keep it there. They had a boot camp in
No, we'll have
27
to beep this out because we also had a fallout with them recently.
Okay, go ahead, you can leave them. So this group had a, a boot camp in 2017 in Bangalore. And I went there with an open mind to attend it. And my biggest problem was that they never speak about veganism. It's about animals, but you won't address the most, where the most amount of animals are actually being abused. It's about rescuing animals, okay. About wildlife, okay. And in the end, it's a small thing like, yeah, the food here is vegan, guys. Please think about veganism. Thank you, bye. I'm like, what on earth? And then their funders come up, the people who are funding this organization. And they are not vegan either. Some of them eat eggs, some of them drink milk. And there was this lady, again, I'll not name names for your own sanity, that's safest for you. And she's apparently a part of this vegan movement now, the animal welfare movement in India for so many decades right now. And I hate having these kind of heroes we look up to in the sense that I don't think anyone is beyond questioning. Okay, just because this person has been involved in the animal welfare movement for 20 years does not mean that they are now beyond any questions. Because this person stood there and without any remorse or guilt said that she eats eggs at a conference about animal rights and says not everyone will change overnight. Therefore, it's okay to also promote keeping hens and making them lay eggs without stuffing them in cages. Now, I lost my cool. I blasted her and another man there who was talking about milk consumption. Both of these people, I won't name them, but they are extremely huge personalities within the animal welfare movement. They are also probably millionaires. I could not control my anger, so I just gave it left and right. And even one of the girls who works for that NGO began crying after seeing me speak that way to them because it became like a huge fight, like one group separated here, one group over there. But that's where I have my problem. I mean, if we are standing up for animals, no one ever puts a damn campaign saying, dogs are being abused so and so, let's find a better way to abuse them. Like, no one says that. But chickens, oh yeah, we can do it in this way. Buffaloes, oh yeah, we can treat them that way. Like, why? Why? Even right now, I know there is one particular NGO in India that is pushing forward for some gestation crates for pigs. The problem is not that they are stuffed in gestation crates. The problem is after they're taken out, a knife is stabbed in their freaking throat. That's the problem.
And they are being seen as commodities for human use.
So you are not addressing the root of the issue. Why? I don't know. Maybe because by doing it this way, you become more popular among non-vegans, you get better donations. I don't know. I'm not into conspiracy theories, but I don't know why they're doing this. So I'll say that's one thing we should not take from the West because that's not moving from animal exploitation to animal liberation. That's moving towards sanitized exploitation. We're not even going towards the goal anymore. We're going in another direction. A senseless. We're going from zero to zero. So that's the one thing, don't do that. Be a vegan and promote veganism. If you're scared to speak up about veganism, then go ahead, speak about the environment, the health or whatever, but use the word plant-based. Just don't use the word vegan, is what I would say.
Yeah, so essentially stay away from welfarism, or the heart of your message should be ethical veganism. And then if you want to talk about the environmental aspect and all of it, then choose your words wisely.
Yeah, like I said, I have always told these groups also as well, like, you can't, okay, fine, I have to say it, like you don't go vegan for January. Like, India's an Instagram page, and I'm sorry if I sound like I'm complaining and ranting, but I'm just, again, I speak only from here always. I can only speak my mind. So they released a video of this guy, and he was playing basketball. He was talking about like being vegan and stuff, and in the end, he says like, try being vegan. I mean, just because you have one girlfriend and it didn't work out doesn't mean you'll stop dating. Just try once. If it doesn't work out, it's okay. What kind of an analogy is this? Why are we turning an ethical movement, the only movement for these farmed animals right now, into something that is so trivial?
True.
I just don't appreciate that. So please speak up for veganism and for animals the way we would want to be spoken for if we were in their position. That's the only right way to look at it. Yeah.
I totally understand what you are saying, and that is one of the reasons why I try to spend time on educating activists to be better advocates for animals. There is one, I would not say a positive point, but there is one like optimistic side to look at this side of things, and I had a question for you later, but I'll ask it now because I probably know your answer is related to this. And that is that you were very upset with the live export bill and activists promoting that. I was also one of them. I remember someone when you made that post, like why Indian activists are doing it, and I remember someone writing a comment there. that Arvind sir, I also signed the petition because Voice of Vegan said so. Now what should I do? so something of that sort. So first, my question is, would like to understand why were you upset? I think you have answered it majorly, but if you would still like to add upon that.
Yeah, sure. Now it's funny, but back then, see, here's the problem. I try my best not to lose my cool because I know the moment I get angry, all of us, for the most part, when we get angry, we just start speaking sloppily. We just, get emotional and just rant something. So, from now a critical perspective, I was upset because animals are either way being live transported to be hung or sliced up to their deaths every single day on trucks inside two slaughterhouses within India. Where was your freaking voice then? Why were you not so upset then? Like, if you're so upset that these sheep or goats are going to be thrown on ships and they'll be transported for 30 days without food or water across an ocean to some Middle Eastern country and then be chopped up over there, where was your anger and frustration when it was happening right now? So you're telling me if the same container right now was taken off the ship and these goats were sent over there to a local slaughterhouse, you'll be like, hey, we succeeded, guys. There's no live slaughter. They're still dead. Either way. So what are we doing? See, again, it's because when, I guess, being a vegan and having seen Earthlings and so many other cruelty footage, in the initial stages, it hits us so badly, we're so hurt. And when some other new form of cruelty comes up, like some new kind of experimentation on animals or a new way to kill animals or torture them in a different way, we are like, oh my God, we have to stop this. But when we focus more on the how it is done, we focus less on the fact that it is done to begin with. The problem is not that they're being live transported elsewhere. The problem is that we still have a system in which you can force impregnate female animals. You can take babies from mothers while they're still, when the mother is screaming, and you can still commodify and eat and use their bodies for whatever way you want. That is the ultimate root of the issue. So when we start promoting these kind of things, campaigns, and if we succeed, how is it first of all a success? What am I supposed to celebrate for? And second thing is, are you telling me that in case the bill was quashed then later on, but what happened to those people then? Where are they now? Their voice was so loud, like a roaring lion then. But then apparently my friend told me that, dude, are you aware, in this case, they're apparently going to start culling. And that's when my blood began to, I'm like, again, the freaking dog lovers and cat lovers. The moment it's a dog and a cat, they will fight tooth and nail to protect them. The moment they are now going to kill an animal that's not a dog and cat, they'll fight tooth and nail to have the right to kill that animal. So, and many non-vegans as well were getting involved in this. So my point is, okay, if you had a non-vegan friend right now and you had two options, you could tell them either sign this petition to stop this bill or go vegan. You have to tell them to go vegan. That's the bigger impact they can do, not by signing the petition, but again, since it was new cruelty and they could kill dogs and cats, humans are being humans and just getting emotional, and I got emotional too. That's what happened.
So there were like two glaring issues with that. One is addition of dogs and cats, which actually got the support of the feeder communities in India. That is one thing. And secondly, the bill also used the term commodity in that, right? So it was like technically treating these animals as commodity, right? And the only optimistic side that I see to it, I think I later on made a follow-up video on that as well, where I'm talking to someone else that now you signed the petition, it has been quashed, you're happy for it, but then now, since I have your attention, let's talk about veganism. So I think that is one optimistic side of things which I look at it, that sometimes these instances where even the non-vegans are suddenly speaking up for the animals, I think that creates that window of opportunity for us to have a better conversation with them because they are slightly on this side. So that increases that opportunity for us. Another example I think is, and that was like one of my first posts on Facebook with regard to that unfortunate incident happening in Kerala with that elephant. And people were like all hue and cry. Then I said, like, first and foremost, everyone who's speaking up for the elephant, thank you so much. Now that I have your attention, now let's talk about veganism and let's look at our own hypocrisy. I'm just not calling them hypocrite directly, but I'm using that as an opportunity to make them reflect that, okay, this is hypocrisy.
Yeah, I understand that. Like that, multiple things. First of all, it does provide us a window of opportunity. I agree, but I don't agree with the fact that we now need to stand here and fight for that bill because, like I told you, if the bill is quashed, okay, these animals are on the container right now. The guy is going to put it in full gear to send them somewhere in the Middle East. He's not going to, okay, you won. They're going to be taken off and where? They're going where now next? So what have you accomplished at all? apart from making yourself feel better, for them, what difference is this? So that the window to speak about veganism, I agree completely. It's a good idea. Speaking of this elephant issue, I remember there was this one idiot cartoonist. This guy once DM'd me and told me he's going to put a case against me because I used one of his cartoons while making my videos. And he makes fun of vegans and stuff. But when this issue came up, he was like, in all tears apparently, drawing a cartoon of an elephant crying with tears and stuff. And I was going through the comment section. I wanted to ask that guy, like, dude, you always say plants feel pain. Why weren't you making a cartoon for the freaking pineapple then? What they are? So yeah, like, I'm just, man, here's the problem with it. I'm just ranting at this point. Like, I agree with you though. Yeah, what you said is true.
Yeah. So generally, like, whenever even now also, there was this Vetic case in Mumbai where someone was caught on camera beating the dog at a pet grooming care center, right? And people were all up and against this person, and that is again like a window of opportunity, right? That if you're speaking up for the dogs, then you have compassion. There are only two things from there: either you're ignorant, that you don't care about the other animals, or you are a hypocrite. Let's have a conversation, and allow me to put this in your mind that you're either ignorant, and if you're ignorant, then this dialogue is taking away your ignorance, and then whatever you're left with is hypocrisy, because otherwise nothing else is
No, I agree with you on that. I guess I am not capable of that kind of conversation because I just lose my temper basically. Because the moment I hate hypocrites, man. Like the fact that they will feel bad for this dog, but without any remorse, they'll go out and they'll eat chicken or mutton tomorrow, or they'll drink a glass of milk is just beyond me. Because when I was a non-vegan, of course I was doing violence towards animals, but I was a consistent violent hypocrite. Okay, as in at least if you come and show me a dog, I'll be like, okay, I'll eat the dog too.
Consistent violent person, not a hypocrite.
A hypocrite doesn't. I wouldn't want someone to hit a human though.
Yeah.
So still it's hypocrisy.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Species
is yeah, definitely. So but when I see these people, I'm thinking to myself like, this is not that hard to connect the dots. It's not rocket science. This is so easy. Shouldn't punch a dog means you shouldn't punch a chicken. If you can punch a dog, you can punch a chicken. It's simple. There is no argument to this. So I guess when someone brings it up like this to me, I will tend to just explode at them, which will not lead to a proper conversation. So if people can use that window to have a proper conversation, it's a wonderful thing to do.
You faced a lot of hate comments, right? So is there a specific type or a kind of hate comment that really irritates you?
Yeah, one particular comment is what I remember because I even made a response video to this, and that guy got scared and he deleted his Facebook account and stuff. Like basically what happened was, have you heard of this lady called Yamini Narayanan?
Yeah, Narayanam.
Yeah, you know her. So she recently released a book about, I think, this whole
cow protectionism.
Exactly. So I follow her on Facebook, her account. This was like around, I think, 5 years ago. And she had posted a post saying that she went to Kerala, and what happened was she witnessed something where the people, this again is very graphic, what they do is the slaughterhouse workers there who kill the pigs in Kerala, they first of all get extremely drunk before doing the violent act because it's psychologically very traumatizing, especially when you kill a pig. And she said that they take hammers and they beat the pig till it's like skull cracks open or something like that. So I saw that and I couldn't sleep that night. I was so mentally disturbed. So I was thinking to myself, like, dude, what on earth is going on in this world? What am like, it's again one of those moments where you just like wish an asteroid will just hit Earth and everything will just die. That's far better than what's going on right now. Like that's way better than what's going on right now. Like if I was stuck in a cage in that pig's place, I'd be like, you know what, God, just nuke Earth. I don't want this hammer on my head. Just let everything end. So I was at that kind of emotional moment at that point. When I got a DM on Facebook, that is back when I used to respond to every comment and every DM, because I still had like just some 50K followers or something like that. So one guy, this is a regular troll by the way on my page, I know him, Tamil guy. He was like, bro, it was around some 1:30. I just went from this street to that street while traveling. I saw an injured dog whose leg was kind of injured and stuff. Here's the photo. Can you please help me help this dog? So I told him, take a knife, shove it in the dog's throat and chop that leg and eat it. And he was like, bro, now is not the time for jokes. I was like, what do you mean time for jokes? So that was a chicken you wouldn't have had. Like he caught me at the wrong moment, okay. But what he did not know, by the way, was that as he sent me the DM, I took screenshots, I started sending it to rescue groups and someone did actually go and save the dog. Update, the dog was saved. But I wasn't going to let it leave his mind. I was going to tell him that the dog should suffer, man. It should die. You know why? Because plants feel pain. Because my culture says so. I was started like just ranting and giving him all this in such anger. And he too was just saying like, I'll never become vegan, but that dog should not suffer and you're not a real animal activist. Screw you, blah, blah, blah. So I don't know what happened to me that day. I just grabbed my camera, made it face me, and I began yelling into the camera, calling out that guy's name. Then I recorded that video, went into my editing software, put his face and his name and everything there on the stuff, and I uploaded it on my Facebook page. He saw it, he got super scared, and he took the video down. I mean, he took his account down. He was so scared. Then he opened a new account with a DP, and he's like, "Bro, please take that video down, bro. I'm so scared, bro." Something like that. So, anyways, later I did take the video down. The point of this is that I guess there is no one particular comment in general that affects me so much. Everything people say at the end of the day is equally stupid, is what I feel. Because if we are supposed to be rational and logical people, which is what many of us claim to be, there is no rational or logical argument against veganism. It does not exist. I've even debated several atheists, one big guy from Kerala, and he was giving the dumbest excuses, like everybody else, just like everybody else. You know, Neil deGrasse Tyson, right? Yeah. Man, he's like supposed to be one of the most intelligent humans on earth, and he speaks like a damn idiot when veganism was brought up. So the thing is that one comment from that one boy that day really mentally disturbed me because of circumstances. I was already mentally messed up because I saw how the pigs were being killed in Kerala, and that made me so sad. And this troll, he's a regular troll on my page, by the way. Yeah. But suddenly he feels bad for the dog. So if he were in real, I would want to like shake him and be like, "What is wrong with you?" But I couldn't do that, so had to somehow let my anger out, and that's what I did on camera. That's the one situation that I went out of control.
So would like to ask you about your content creation journey, and would start with an example, and I'll talk about the carrot reel that you made, right? Carrot reel was like, carrots are good for eyes, but imagine the people who are making carrots, and then they start a marketing campaign that if you...
Imagine right now, a few hundred years ago, someone decided to start selling carrot juice. In order to further their sales, they then put up a logo that said, "The beta-carotene found in carrot juice is good for your eye." Now that is a truthful and scientific statement because carrots do contain beta-carotene and they are good for your eyes. They put that ad, the product is selling better, and they were happy. Few more years go by, and now they think, okay, how do we sell even more carrot juice right now? So that time they just slightly twist the truth. All they have to do is put up a board that says, if you don't drink carrot juice, you will become blind. And if they can get a few people to believe this and repeat that generation upon generation, when tomorrow someone comes forward and says like, "Hey guys, you don't have to drink carrot juice. There are other sources of vitamin A or beta-carotene," that person will be considered as crazy. Because now it's been established in society that you have to drink carrot juice else you'll go blind. Same is true for the dairy industry. I'm not arguing whether dairy has calcium or not. It does. But to say that we humans have to consume cow's milk for a healthy lifestyle is complete nonsense. I hope you guys can agree upon that.
To think of that example and to craft it in words, I'm sure that there is research going into it, and also like you are spending time creating your content outline, right? So would you like to walk us through how the thought process is?
Okay. So I am basically thinking about how to do activism better literally 24/7. There is almost, apart from when I play video games and I'm trying to chill out or like just for watching a movie or something, I'm not thinking about anything else. 24/7 for the past, you can say 10 years, this is what's been going on inside my mind. So with all of this stuff, new ideas keep emerging. And when I get an idea, I sometimes, I have this WhatsApp group where I'm the only member. And if I get this random idea, I'll like just send myself a message there saying like, later you just have to write a small vlog about something like that. So I'll send, so whenever I'm bored or something, I'll go up and I'll scroll up and I'll read what ideas I have. Then I take that idea and expand upon it. I then sit down and I expand these points. I try to think what will be the right way to articulate them. What kind of people love analogies. Analogies really work for people when they like to learn. So this whole carrot juice milk thing is an analogy, right? So it works. So I try to think of many analogies. When it comes to one simple question like plants feel pain, I sit and break my head and think what are the different ways in which we can convey this to people. So whenever we're having a conversation, a normal one, or I'm watching TV, or even when I'm walking out, understand that my brain is constantly thinking only about this. Only a person who is obsessed with, I honestly believe that only someone who is genuinely obsessed with something can stand a chance of even achieving something in that field. You have to be obsessed, like a crazy person. So since that's all I do, I keep getting ideas and I try to make a note of them and I try remembering a lot of them. I then practice them a lot inside my head, the delivery and stuff sometimes, and that's pretty much it. Like that's the best way I can say it. Like
yeah. And about your obsession, but I think that is why you have advised me in the past to become a full-time activist as well. Yeah. And just for your information, I think I made a video on this as well about my 2024 goals. So like
I saw half of that video, yes.
yeah, okay. So then I have to see where you dropped off to make the to make the video more engaging. But yeah, one of my thing is to have a crystallized plan this year to become a full-time activist 2025, because like you said, we can contribute a lot more when we do that, and especially I think with you, of course, and I also feel that I have that skill set to contribute
to
more.
communicate, yeah.
Yeah. So, and also now since we are talking about your content, and this is one of the video piece which I have to talk about, which has gone viral. I think every time it has been posted by others as well.
इडली डोसा चटनी सांबार पूरी मसाला चपाती कुरमा पोहा उपमा पोंगल खिचड़ी उत्तपम इडियापम लेमन राइस टोमेटो राइस पुदीना राइस टैमरिंड राइस वेज बिरयानी वेज फ्राइड राइस गोभी मंचूरियन मशरूम मंचूरियन बेबी कॉर्न 65 भेल पूरी पानी पूरी वड़ा पाव समोसा एप्पल बनानास वाटरमेलन मैंगोस guavas jackfruits grapes potatoes sweet potatoes corn pomegranates papayas peaches nectarines plums beetroot carrot radish. There are over 70,000 species of edible plants on the planet. Trust me when I say vegan food has variety in it.
As Arvind the rapper. Yeah. So I have to ask you this, that is practice, right? That is something you have learned, right?
Yeah. I've been saying it in my head for the past 8 years. So.
Yeah. And you would have, so just to give an insight into a content creator's head for our viewers, probably you practiced it and you thought in your head that someday someone will ask me a question related to this and I'm going to answer this. Right?
Exactly. Understand that every conversation you see happening between me and a student has already happened 100 times in my head many years ago. Yeah. So it's all in here. It's just merely coming out right now. That's it. So.
True. So I mean, the effort that it goes into crafting those conversations and those pointers is very important. This is something I tell all the activists, right? That for you also, and I give this example that I tell them that I've never asked him, I'll ask him one day, that rap also, it's not like coming on the spot. It is like at least 20 to 30 hours of practice would have gone into like mugging up the whole thing in a particular order.
Yeah, I about the number of hours, I don't know. But yes, I definitely have already practiced that.
By hours, not like in one setting, but in
course,
general,
in general,
like over that span of time.
So many years, yes, exactly. So what I have done is, certain lines are very powerful, and Gary Yourofsky has really a lot of really powerful lines. So I have like heard his speeches and interviews and videos so many times to the point where I have now memorized certain of the lines that he says.
And that is the preparation I'm talking about, that you took the active effort to memorize it, right? So
I don't think I did it with the intention to memorize. It's like you just keep hearing it over and over and over because I was obsessed, I guess. I just remember it like that right now. But regardless of sometimes delivery and stuff, many of the things obviously are actually on the spot. For example, I came up with the idea obviously of like what to say, but the fact that at that point in time when that person is speaking something, you have to bring them from there to your way and then deliver it and again end it on a good note. Like that kind of a skill set, I guess I never really worked for it. I was just born with it. I have always found communicating in front of a large audience to be extremely easy since I was a little child. As a little child, you can put me on stage, I can still speak. I was never scared or had stage fright. That is something I was just gifted with. So that's one positive thing, yeah.
And you have honed it further. So you had your innate talent to begin with, and then you have honed it further to now go out there and speak effortlessly. On the lighter side of things, when we see you as a very serious person, right? Especially on on your videos. Just would like to ask you, like, even when you were a teenager or growing up as a kid, were you always this serious?
I guess I I don't know what is the correct medical term or something, like what is that thing? Autistic? No. What am I?
Hyper, you mean?
Not hyper. Like the fact that No. Like if I do one thing, I will just keep doing that one thing. Like in my life, I will never experiment with stuff that's new. I just don't like that. If I like one thing, I'll just keep doing it till I die.
Very process oriented.
I guess that could be the word. Or like if I have an interest, it's on a limited number of things, but whatever I am interested in, I go in deep in those things. So with that being the case, I guess I was pretty much the same guy. I was a big mouth in the fact that I would always like to just voice out how I feel about certain things without any filter. I was born without a filter. even to my parents and stuff and my family members, I'm an atheist. I've been so from the age of 11. No, without even knowing what the word atheism existed, I was still an atheist because whatever my parents said, again from a rational perspective, made no sense to me whatsoever. So when my grandparents say like, Arvind, you should, I'm like, why? Because you should. It's not a good enough reason. Why? Give me a better reason. So I have always been this kind of a person. I guess serious.
So that is a mix of serious and a rebel.
Yeah, rebellious, I guess. Yeah, I was very much rebellious since I was young. I just can't stand nonsense. Like, that's the best way I can say it. I just cannot stand nonsense. And most people also cannot stand me. The fact that my wife puts up with me is a very, very big deal for me. I'm very grateful to her for doing that. Because I'm sometimes, at times, not always, sometimes equally annoying to her as well. So, and she has complained about that a few times. So.
Okay, good to know. And I guess you were like really a high scoring kid. Like you used to get good marks.
Only after going to college.
Only so before that, no. After going to college.
After going to college, I worked really hard. I studied French literature. So that's when I realized. So I nearly failed in mathematics in 12th standard. I passed by just 3 marks, and I passed. And so clearly no engineering for me. Then I was like, okay, arts, I either can take English or French. I was like, I've learned French as a second language before in school, so I'll just take French, and that's a good decision. And I realized then that, like, okay, Arvind, this is your last chance at life. If you fail here, your life is going to be screwed. So I began studying very hard French as a second language, putting all my, again, I became obsessed till the point where right now my French has gotten a bit rusty, but at that point, like, you could be interviewing me in French, it'll be completely fine. Like, I could.
Maybe you should start creating content in French.
C'est une idée pour moi qu'un jour je vais aussi créer des vidéos en français. That means, yes, that's an idea for me that one day I might make videos in French. So, yeah, what else can I say? Like, I was very serious on that. So in college, I worked really hard. Even after going to work, I was working really hard in the company I was working for. And then I.
What was your role in that company, if I may ask?
I was. What was?
I'm just curious because
Sure. Amazon. I was working for Amazon France, and I was a catalog associate, meaning that we buy the stuff online. I'm the one who creates the page, the barcode, the picture, the title, all that stuff. I put that on the page. I worked hard there as well, but nothing has pushed me as far as veganism before. And that's because this is between life and death. This is a very serious issue. Like, it's not a light topic at all. And the fact that I could use my life to potentially create a better one for so many, I don't know if end of the day in my lifetime I can change this world and stuff, but I'm very confident I can create a huge positive impact for animals on earth through my form of activism. So for me, then it's do or die right now. Like, I'm going to push myself. I already am pushing myself to my absolute limits every single day. And without any regret, because I think the biggest regret for me will be one day to be on my deathbed when I'm like 70 or 80 and be like, man, I just couldn't. At that point, what's the point in feeling you could have done better? You can't, your time's up. So this is the time we have to work. I'm just 31 years old for those watching, so I'm still very young. So much more in my life yet. So I'm going to work hard and harder and harder and harder and harder every single year, pushing myself even further forward and see where that takes this movement. Hopefully, we will one day make a change. You asked me in the beginning, do you see a change? As of now, no, but maybe one day we will see that change, yeah.
Great. And what is one message that you would like to give out to all the vegans? One message for the vegans.
I usually speak to non-vegans.
That's why I'm saying.
Okay. Thank you so much for being vegan. I want you guys to understand just one thing. Veganism is, if done in a right way, yes, it's beneficial for our health and so good for us, but veganism is not about human health. Veganism is actually not about the environment. It's not about eating organic, eating raw foods, or anything that's fancy, spirituality or anything. It's about us recognizing that animals are individuals just like us, who have that sentience just like us, and exploiting, enslaving and harming them is no different from exploiting, enslaving and harming another human being. We are vegans for our ethical reasons, for the fact that we realize that animals can exist on earth just like the rest of us. And please be a vegan for the animals. Understand that difference. It's wonderful that veganism is helping you in many other ways, but at the end of the day, you got to be vegan for the animals. Because I've seen so many people, it's the people who come in and say, oh my God, veganism gave me glowing skin and beautiful hair and this and that, and 2 years later, it doesn't work for me. It doesn't work for me for some reason right now. So That's really, really sad. And I see many people do drop off. Well, at least have the courage to call yourself as an unethical human being, as a hypocrite, as a violent person, instead of saying it didn't work for you, because that means you never understood what veganism was to begin with. That's the main important message I'll give to vegans.
And I'm still waiting for the health benefits of veganism,
Oh,
honestly. I haven't. Because I used to lead a very healthy life before also. So I'm
okay.
still waiting for the health benefits. It
I
hasn't
did
happened.
experience by health benefits.
You did?
Yeah, at the age of I used to eat so much meat back then. That was this highly processed and this garbage stuff that they'll sell. In Tamil Nadu, sometimes everyone loves biryani. And when you buy from these local stores, you can't tell to make it cheap whether he's actually put a goat in there, or he's put a dog in there, he's put a buffalo in there, or even a cow that's got hit by an. You don't know from where they get this flesh. And you take and you eat it. I was eating so much of the stuff. I eventually got so much joint pain to the point where, the crackling noises in my knees, and I was just 19, and I was suffering so badly. And then I went to the doctor, and he took a blood test, and he said, "Arvind, your uric acid levels are just so high, and that's what's causing all this pain for you." I was like, "Cool, what do I do?" He was like, "Do you drink alcohol?" Back then, I said, "No, I don't drink alcohol." And he was like, "Do you eat meat?" I was like, "Yup." Okay, take these tablets. That's it. That's what he told me. Then many years later, I learned about veganism, and I became a vegan. And 8 months later, the pain has just disappeared. I got my blood test done again, and my uric acid levels are normal. Apparently, I was suffering from something called gout, this crystallization of these proteins within the joints, and that's what caused all the pain. So yeah, veganism definitely benefited me on that. But
I think you should tell your story more about going vegan, because generally people ask me, have you gone have you noticed health benefits? So
oh yeah,
I
oh
said,
definitely, I did. I definitely did notice that one health benefit,
Yeah.
because my joints were aching so badly, and all that pain just vanished completely after becoming vegan. I wasn't even a healthy vegan. I guess just the absence of meat was enough to make my body healthier again. But then again, if I wanted to, technically, once a week I can still eat fried chicken and be healthy.
Yeah.
So that's where the whole argument of ethics comes up.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Exactly, and that's why I think understanding veganism as nowadays I've stopped even saying ethical vegan, because now I think what I try to do and tell others as well, to assign the ethics into the definition of veganism by default, right? So that it is very clear. So everywhere I get this opportunity, especially like during the protest and all, I get an opportunity to speak to the media. I always tell them this, and I clearly call this out, that veganism is not what the food influencers and the celebrities are telling
Oh yeah, I saw that video.
Thank you so much for covering this event. My message is to the mainstream media that veganism is not some sort of fancy diet. Veganism is not what the food influencers are telling you on social media, what the celebrities are telling you. Veganism is not about avocados. Veganism is not about cashew cheese. Please stop portraying veganism in the wrong light. There is only one aim of veganism, and that is animal liberation. That's it. Animals are not commodity. We have no right to interfere with them. Thank you.
Yeah.
I always say that.
That's true. It's not about avocado toast.
Yeah. Because that is like a very common perception. I want to talk to you about how you manage your mental health, because I know that it takes a toll on you, given the fact that editing videos, putting footages, going through them again and again, and then also hearing so much rubbish from people and getting hate. So how do you manage that?
Okay, I have quite a few things to say on that. Firstly, just like any other human being who is involved in this movement, my mental health is bad. It's not good for two reasons. One, like you said, one thing that really hurts is constantly having to watch these slaughterhouse footages and then dissect them and pick out that one less gory part that will not get flagged on the video can be truly soul crushing. It mentally disturbs you, and sometimes in the middle of the night I wake up just somewhat like thinking like, oh my god, I can't believe like that's actually happening right now, like while I'm sleeping. It's happening right now as we're talking, all that kind of violence and stuff. So that's one very disturbing thing. Second thing is the fact that I really do push myself. It's easy to now be satisfied saying that, hey, look at this, I have made apparently 100 people vegan, I have made 1,000 people vegan, and just be happy. But no, what do we want? Animal liberation. So we're not stopping until we reach that. And to reach that goal, we have to push ourselves past all blockades. We have to think like a soldier. And soldiers, when they're given a command, they're not allowed to back. You have to go there and die, you have to go there and die. That's your command. You must fight till your death. So I push myself in that exact same way. and that can really lead to some heavy mental repercussions. Now, I will say or admit certain things openly on camera. For the past 5 months right now, I have been sober. I was a heavy drinker of alcohol. Used to consume lots of alcohol because it really helps in numbing the pain. You tend to forget about all your problems, and then you just, but even when I'm drunk, by the way, in my head, I'm still thinking, where else can I lecture? Like, what can I tell if this student asks that? I swear to God, even when I'm drunk, I'm thinking only about this. But nevertheless, it like kind of, you feel happy for no reason. Have you ever drank alcohol?
I'm like an occasional drinker, but generally I don't drink.
Okay. But then I realized that if I want to be a better activist and I have to be in here for the long run, what about my liver? What about my health? What example am I setting? I have to find a way out. So I've been sober now for 5 months, going strong. I've tried being sober before also. I reached 11 months and then failed. It happened, but I keep trying anyways. But that was one thing I used to use to numb the pain, and that was not beneficial. I would never recommend using alcohol, marijuana, or any kind of drug to numb the pain, because you either way have to face it once again once you're out of the high. So that's one thing. One thing I'm extremely grateful for is the fact that I have such a supportive partner with me, who is with me and supports me through everything. Imagine the fact that if I had to now go to that girl and tell her like, hey, will you marry me? But here's the conditions, okay? I'm a guy who's considered as a lunatic by majority of society. My own family probably hates me. I have no friends at all from my who are not vegan from my previous life and stuff. And I'm going to be online openly calling out people's bullshit and getting hate and stuff. And I'm going to also be speaking out against the most normalized form of violence on earth, which everyone takes part in. Because understand this, some groups, like you can have left or right wing, will fight each other. Hindus, Muslims, Christians will fight. But everyone hates vegans because everyone hates animals, certain animals. So they're all going to hate me. And this is what I can offer you. Want to marry me? And she was like, yeah, cool. I'll stand by your side and help you along the way in every way. So I'm like, okay, like didn't expect that. So the thing is that my wife has been such a tremendous support for me in the past 6-7 years. And without her, none of this, nothing would exist. This whole page, this channel, the videos, me speaking activism, coming out successfully and encouraging more people to become vegan, none of this would have existed if she was not there in my life. So many times people see me speaking and they think like, oh my God, this guy is so awesome. Like he does everything. No. You only see half of what's there. Just because I'm the face and the icon you see there doesn't mean that there isn't someone back there. Who do you think is behind the cameras running around in the auditorium to make sure that when the students are speaking, they're being recorded, I'm being recorded, the mic's on. She is single-handedly handling all of this. Who do you think once we come back home is sitting there editing the videos, adding a powerful BGM, adding these powerful scenes? If you see a video, your carrot juice example, that's now got like some 3 million views on YouTube, she made that video. Of course, I came up with the idea, but she made the video. So it's completely together we work. And I am so glad I found this person, because I made it my life's ambition to want to achieve animal liberation or go to as close as it as possible. And there is this other human being on earth who was willing to come along that journey with me without ever complaining. Ever, I cannot, when it comes to the work that she does, I can't find a single flaw. And I'm not saying this because she's there and I'm scared of her. I'm being very honest. Like I can't find, of course, me and her, we fight, we have arguments, all that exists like any other couple. But when it comes to activism work, man, you guys don't know her. You guys only see me.
And that is, I think it's a good opportunity to now probably announce that I'll put her in a spot now that she, and everything you said, she sounds like the perfect match for this podcast, that is an ethical leader. And I have, with all humility, I have invited her to be on this podcast and tell her story as well. So hopefully someday we will do that as well.
Maybe you guys can get more insights about how we interact and stuff from her. People might be interested in that. But yeah, so because of her, 50% plus of my burden is just gone. It's just gone. The fact that I come back here and I know after lecture there's someone there for me and they are going to be there for me, stand by my side and help me achieve all of this. I mean, which other girl or which other person is going to do this for me? No one else on earth is going to stand by my side like this. So since I have her, I guess I'm fully strong. Just one person to support us 100%, whom we can put our faith in, is enough to carry us for miles. So that's one benefit I have when it comes to mental health. Yes.
And that is why it's very important to choose the right life partner.
I got lucky. I did not know she was like this when we were first in a relationship. I hoped she would be awesome. She seemed to be much better as the years go on. So yeah.
And I like, just to summarize, like there are three things you essentially talked about. One is with regard to the footages that we have to go through, and I, as a content creator, I totally relate with that. It's very difficult, and even on our page, very similar to yours, we don't put a lot of gory content, right? And like you rightly said, it's a very difficult process to see the whole video and pick a portion which is less, but we have to sift through the whole
You are
thing.
like, I want the public to see this. They are supposed to see this. But if I put it there, the video is going to get flagged immediately. So we are like, how unfair is this? You're allowed to kill the animal, but I can't show you how it's being killed. So yeah.
So yeah, that is one thing. And secondly, of course, the workload of creating all this content and everything. And that is something again I can relate with. And also, like on how to deal with mental health, of course, there are many ways to go around it, but having good support system in your life is very important. And I think it's very rare that like there are two folks in the frame, and I think I can also share the same thing, right? Like I also have a very supportive life partner, and that makes all this so much easier, right? Because you know, like at the end of the day, everything can get screwed up, but you have your safe space, right? And someone who is as powerful as you are and cheering you and probably on the same path, like you said, to reach animal liberation or as close to it as possible, right?
Yeah.
And then coming to the last question, and there's an assumption in the premise of this question that assume that the society goes vegan, we have achieved animal liberation. Let's assume that this video goes out and bam, something happens and the whole world goes vegan. Yeah. Then what will you do in life? Have you thought about it?
Sometimes I do think about it. I guess I will try to spend my life doing some kind of help towards someone, either people, for example, there will still be orphanages that would need probably volunteers or animal sanctuaries that would need volunteers. So I would obviously have to get a proper full-time job at that point. And in my free time, I guess, I mean, the world's vegan right now. I'm wonderful. Like, I'll be singing along the road and dancing and hugging people and hugging pigs and hugging chickens and just going about my day. Every day will be just a wonderful day to live, I guess. So I guess I would just live every day happily. That would be what I probably would do. Yeah.
And it's like ironical that you talked about the child orphanage thing. That is something again I have also thought about, and in fact, I have worked with child rights in child rights activism earlier, right? And from there to vegan activism, like I always think of animals and helpless children as the most vulnerable in the society who are dependent on human adults, right? So that link is absolutely like beautiful in the way that you can make the connection and at the same time needs a lot of help, like how both these, and probably once an activist, always an activist, like we'll find a cause where we can again make the society better.
Yeah, probably something like that. Or I guess I would finally take some time off from activism. Finally, I haven't taken time off almost ever. At least maybe I don't upload videos for like a few weeks. I decided to just rest. But it's still working up here. This has not shut down since I've gone vegan. It's working non-stop, my mind, always thinking of something new. So with that being the case, I guess maybe for the first time in like a decade, I would take a break, just live around Earth, go to different countries. Actually, I don't even like, many people like traveling. I don't want to travel. What am I going to see you killing animals over there? What difference is it on Earth? All same human species doing the same crap everywhere. So I'll finally be interested to learn about their culture, more things. Everything is veganized right now. We can all finally hug each other, stop fighting hopefully. So just live for a few months, maybe then see what other cause I can help in whichever way I can.
Yeah, so that's it from my end, Arvind, and thank you so much for this conversation. And once again, thank you not only for this session, but apart from that, everything else you do, and thank you for inspiring us.
Thank you so much for all those kind words, and I'm just doing my part, and we just have to keep working harder every single day. That's all I can say. Keep working, have that obsession up here, and just don't listen to anybody else. Don't listen to any negative advice, because even fellow vegans will speak crap about us many times. You'll know that, right? They'll say, you can't do this. Don't listen to negative things.
This form of activism you are doing is pointless. Do this or do that.
But be objectively critical about yourself. Like I am extremely critical about my own work. So I know for a fact that if I'm wrong and somebody pointed out to me like objectively like I'm wrong, I'll change myself for sure. So that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for tuning in, I guess.
Yeah.